boys. We've got to get to Heartland Hotrods.
Welcome to Heartland Hotrods tonight. We've got what I think is going to be a good show. We're going to kick it around the table a whole lot. We got Curtis and Greg here. We had last week, we hit on Chevelle's a lot last week.
We did. We had a lot of fun with talking about old Chevelle's.
We did. And we caused some hate talk because there's some Ford owners out there that said, what about a Ford?
Well, Fords are coming. You know, sometimes we save the best for last, y'all.
We love them all.
That's right.
We don't care what flavor they are. If they're a classic, they're a classic. You know?
Yeah, we had an interesting show last week. We talked about that. We had a couple topics. We bounced off, and we want our listeners to comment tonight.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things I'm gonna kind of open up with you guys, of course. I want to know your feelings. It's kind of a trend, at least especially of late, and that's the big wheels on classics.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. And of course, you introduced us all. But before we get there, let's introduce our engineer and producer back there behind the screen. Old Jimmy Gallagher. He's been hanging out with us since the inception of this. He runs the controls back there. And, you know, classic cars and classic music kind of go hand in hand, don't they, Greg?
They really do. They do a classic country backstories.
Yeah, Classic Country Backstories is a great channel on YouTube.
It is. And I'll tell you what, they got great stories. It goes right along with classic cars.
It does.
And we've also got a classic rock friend we'll talk about later. So we love classic music. Kurt plays, I play, Kev writes. We're all involved. Jim plays, Colleen is.
We all do our thing when it comes to hot rods and music.
Yeah, love them both. I thought about that. We had Luke Shirley on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He plays classic.
He plays drums. He plays trumpet.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude's he's a player.
He is a player, but I got to think about it. I thought, all these classic car people, I know we just did a video with Steve on
some old hot rods he had.
Right. Yeah. And
he's a musician.
He is.
And I'll tell you something else we found out too, fellas, is these hot rod guys, we're finding a lot of them that are also Harley guys.
A lot of bikes.
Wasn't really. I never really tied the two together until we started going out to these folks' houses and homes, checking out their hot rods, and 8 out of 10 of them's got a bike.
They
or Harley or something.
They do. They do. The majority of the people we have filmed have Harleys or a bike in their garage.
And we're not opposed to filming some cool motorcycles too.
No, absolutely.
They're hot rods. Aren't they? Are they not?
They are hot rods.
I know the couple we saw last week were hot rods.
I tell you what, if you look up the history of the engine, motorcycles were there just as much as a car would.
No, they were even in military purposes.
Absolutely.
Or, transportation back in the 40s and 50s. Racing. I mean, it's all, everything kind of ties together, don't it, guys?
Nothing like a leather helmet and goggles.
I'll tell you what.
Get off and play a little football.
Greg and I, we've been letting y'all know for the last couple of weeks that old Kev's classic car shopping. He's looking for a hot rod.
He's shopping, fella.
But you guys are shopping hard for
it. Yeah, actually,
I really appreciate that.
We're doing more shit. We're trying to spend your money more.
Yeah.
But I never know if I'm sending you something you like or not because you don't respond. And I'm thinking in my mind, I bet old Kev's going, look at them guys trying to spend my hard-earned cash.
On that 79 Firebird out of Mount Vernon, I gave you a thumbs up.
Yeah, and that 74, I sent you a 74 Firebird just last week. So if you haven't saw that, you need to check it out.
He may have got that one for me too.
Yeah.
What do we got to do to get you to buy?
Well, I mean, I love spending somebody else's money.
One of my favorite things to do is spend the wife's money.
Oh yeah. Well, that's part of it.
I'm gonna continue to look.
Keep looking. You'll find.
You guys will find me something.
Something that will really jump. But if anybody's got one, he's looking for that early mid-70s Firebird Camaro F-body car. So. Keep that in mind. If you got one sitting tucked away that you don't use anymore, Kev's a power shopper. Well, Greg and I are power shoppers.
Kevin at heartlandhotrods.com.
Yep. Send us over an email if you got something you think old Kev might be interested in. He's open to other things too. He's got a
Absolutely.
preference like a lot of us, but hey, classic cars, we love them all. We were just talking about that before we went on tonight.
There's not one I don't love anymore. It's weird. I went from being a specific model or brand when I was a kid
Yeah.
to now I love them all.
Yeah,
I
there's a
like
lot of truth to
everything.
that.
Well, I was a hellion in my family. My dad was a Chevy guy. They quit making vehicles after Chevrolet.
Oh, wow.
And I would be the guy to bring in the Mopar and the
Oh,
Ford
yeah.
and you know, my brother, he followed suit with my dad, and it has to be GM. Now he drives a Dodge, you know,
Of course he does.
but a new Dodge, of course. But
If it didn't have a ribbon on the grill,
yeah,
then it wasn't coming.
you're right. Yeah, you got to have that bow tie up front, you know,
Yeah.
somewhere. But you know what? A lot of Ford guys power their stuff with Chevy, Chrysler.
They do.
I mean, it's a cheap, easy interchange, and
They do.
parts are plentiful.
We've got a
And-
topic coming out on that.
Yeah, more
this evening.
affordable. So we're going to be talking about that here in the near future too. Yeah. So Kev, you said something about big wheels and tires there.
Yes, you see it a whole lot, especially on lower vehicles, but you see a big craze on swapping out the tires and wheels to something that is less of custom or more custom rather.
Oversized stuff you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Greg and I, we've touched on this a lot because obviously he wheel shopped when he got his old
Yeah.
C10
Yeah.
truck.
And I think he did good.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But
I think it is.
in one of our earlier live shows, we had Shannon Crump on, and he was turned off by big wheels.
Right.
Yet he bought a big wheeled car, and it got me to thinking. I'm sure it got you to thinking
Got
about
me
it
to
too.
thinking too.
You know, we go to a lot of car cruises, and we
Right.
see these 20-inch wheels, these 22-inch wheels
Right.
on vehicles, and I've got a preference. You have a preference, and we know our likes and dislikes all vary, and our audience obviously the same way. We want to know what you guys think tonight. So we're asking you, if you had a 68 C10 or a 72 Chevelle, would you want the great big oversized wheels with the short sidewall, or do you want something that's more original or something that's less beefy,
Right.
more stock? We want to know what you guys think. So
Absolutely.
don't
Yeah.
you agree, Greg?
I agree 100%. And it's whatever, obviously, like you said, it's whatever the buyer likes.
Yeah, it's a preference.
There's no right or there's no wrong, but we want to know what you like. I asked C10 Nation on Facebook to
Mhm.
send some pictures in, some trucks. Is that been played yet, Jim? Yeah, and man, I got covered up.
I saw that.
I couldn't keep up with it because everybody had a preference,
Yeah.
and we've asked them to comment. We've got several of you guys' trucks on here tonight. So
Well, what I see, and we'll start with trucks in particular. When you, and we'll use the C10 for an example because we asked you asked
Yeah,
that
I
posed
did.
that question on C10 Nation, but they'll put them great big wheels in there, the extended wheel wells in the bed.
right,
They'll drop that truck down to where they got to cut out the bed. They want that truck low
low.
on these big wide tires, kind of lower than a car, you know.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys like? And do you dislike that? And why do you dislike that? We'd like to know in the comments. And if you guys comment on that, or do you like the original looking setup, like they came out new? Do you like something a little less dynamic and big, maybe a 17 or an 18-inch wheel versus a 22?
You can go snowblind searching for that look.
Boy, you can.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Some people know. Some people have looked around enough to know when they get their car, they know just what they want.
Well, they saw something in the past that
Yeah.
they like, and they
They
want to
did.
try to replicate, duplicate that. And some people, I know when I'm building a vehicle, I'm real particular about the stance.
Right.
And I'm sure most of you guys are too. When you build your car, whether it's a finished show car, or if it's just a daily driver, a patina vehicle, or whatever, you want a certain look out of that thing. And a lot of it has to do with, you know, I can remember back when I was a kid, you can take an old average looking car
Yeah.
and throw a set of
Air
wheels and
shock.
tires on it,
Some air shock.
some air shocks.
Get that back end up.
You've got this hot rod looking classic car, you know.
Everybody wanted to do it. I mean, it didn't matter what you had. Some kids did it on what they had.
Oh no, they
didn't have to.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we had a good friend that wanted new wheels so bad he could only afford two, so he put them on the driver's side.
Well, that's the
So
cruising.
when he was cruising,
That's the cruising side, baby.
and it worked. You know.
Hey, back when
I'm very well. So,
back when I was younger, man, if I could only afford two, I'd buy those two.
Yeah.
I'd run them until I run across a deal on something else.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't always have to match. You know, I had chrome reverse wheels on the back, stock wheels on the front, or you might have Krager's up front.
I'll tell you the
Krager's
truth.
in the
I
back.
think I had snow tires on the back of my Roadrunner.
What I was most
I know you
worried,
did on your Thunderbird.
what I was most worried about, fellas, was could I drive it any length of time without having a damn flat?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
It's the truth.
but you take, back in the old Bi-Star days, man, they look so cool.
They
Yeah.
did.
You know, I think we got a picture on there of a GTO, Jimmy, if you get a chance to throw it up there. Now, that stock GTO had them 14-inch wheels and tires on it.
Yeah.
And it looked good.
It looked
They
good.
had the Pontiac rallies on there.
Yeah, I like it.
But a lot of guys would take them cars, like that bottom picture shows there, and they'd throw a big old set of 50s on the back of that thing. Some air shocks, hijackers, and whatever you want to call them.
I'm good.
And they had raked that thing up, and I love that look. You know,
I do too.
and I'm 45, 50 years beyond that. I still like that look.
Yeah.
It still takes me back to, I love that look of a car. It wasn't the most comfortable thing to drive, and most of us had to adjust our headlights.
That's right. The ride was
true,
a little bit stiff.
A little bit stiff on them air
The
shocks.
headlights were a little bit in front
So
of me.
you tilt them headlights up so you could keep the ass into your car back up in the air. You
Yeah.
know? And today we see kind of the opposite with the newer trucks. Have you noticed that, guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
Trucks running around with the back end down and the front end up.
and that's a popular, real popular.
It's a popular look, especially.
Somebody said that's called a California look.
Well, that don't surprise me. And I'm not knocking your vehicle. If you got one like that,
Yeah.
hey, we're not
Yeah,
knocking it.
absolutely.
To each their own.
Absolutely.
It's yours. You do with it what you will.
You're paying for it.
You're paying for it ultimately, but that's a different look. So we got younger guys running around today in their 4-wheel drive trucks, and I always made the joke. It looks like, you remember when we had their old dogs back in the day, and they go
Oh,
dragging their
yeah.
blood across
Yeah.
the yard. Kind of looked like that to me at
Yeah.
first, but you see so many of them, it kind of grows on you after a while. In my opinion, it would be hard to see out of it, much like it would be if you're in the 70s when your car was
My
jacked.
question is this, Ben, I don't know anything about them, and maybe our viewers do. Are they on an air shock system to drop that rear end, get the front end? I mean, can it be adjusted on the fly, or is that fixed?
Well, some of them have compressors and bags. They talk about bagging
Bag,
vehicles.
right.
So it's kind of like a small version of a semi truck with the airbags on it.
Yeah.
You know, they can adjust their level, their ride height, things like that. These guys will go down the road, their truck's setting level. Next thing you know, they hit a button, air goes out
Yep.
of it, and they're doing this.
Yeah,
You know, is it my thing? No, it's a lot of younger
it is.
guys
And
that
you
are
see
cruising.
you see it on a lot of modern trucks.
Now, when we talk about big wheels, Greg, and you and I had this discussion a couple of weeks ago, we're seeing these even square bodies, even the newer trucks, the diesels and stuff, Kevin.
Yeah.
And they've got a 16, 18-inch wide wheel by 20 or 24 with
They do.
it looks like an onion skin around it. I mean, the
There's no
sidewalls are like almost
Yeah.
gone. How do those ride? I've never ridden in one. I mean, in my mind,
No.
I would think the ride would go away when you don't have any sidewall to absorb the road.
Right, and especially with the suspension work
Right.
they do on a lot of it.
Now, we could be wrong. We're all curious as to what would work and how the ride is versus a tire with a big sidewall and a lot of air. You know, when I was running 4-wheel drives, we had Balgers and 44s, and it would look like big balloons on those
Yeah.
15-inch
Yeah.
wheels.
Well,
You know,
Yeah.
3-wheelers.
So
Yeah.
Kevin, on yours, I mean, what do you think you want to put on yours?
Honestly, I like more of the stock look. I don't mind bigger wheels and it works fine on some vehicles.
yeah.
It's but for me, and that's just me, I would like to have it a little more base. I wouldn't want anything over 18 inches for the most part.
Well, what folks run into, guys, is they get a big wide wheel, 9.5, 10-inch wheel by 18 or 20, whatever they decide. And they want that thing sticking out from under that car or truck.
Yeah.
Well, that deepens your depth and your offset changes. And what guys will do and make mistakes is they want that car wheel so deep that it sticks way out or it tucks under so far that it rubs the frame, springs, suspension, things like that. So you have to know about wheel offset, how much clearance you got, things like that before you go spend a lot of money. And trust me, these wheels and tires are expensive.
Oh yeah, they are.
They're expensive.
Today more than ever.
Anybody that knows about wheels and tires today knows that there's a big expense involved when you go to putting shoes on an old hot rod.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's great to buy. Always buy what you want, people. I mean, always buy what your preference is. Don't let anyone talk you into anything that you're not 100% all in on. That's
right. Do your research.
Yeah, do the research. Read the forums. Check out what works and doesn't work on certain makes and models.
Chase down folks that have them. Did you see that have them?
Ask questions.
Pictures.
Yeah, pictures are important. You know, we ran into people, and I've asked guys, how do you get that much wheel and tire tucked under that? Well, I had to narrow my rear end to make it work, or I had to move something under there to get that much wheel and tire tucked under there. So whether it's a mini tub or even a full tub, some of them guys, they'll put them big old slicks on there. It's 23, 22, 23 inches wide. And, you know, you got an axle about that wide.
Right.
You know, so, but they've been doing it for decades.
They have that. There's no doubt about it. So on these wheels and tires, what do you think? I mean, comment, let us know.
Like on a C10, do you like a stock looking C10, or do you with stock wheels and tires, or do you like a truck that's got a 3-inch front, 5-inch rear drop, sitting down on big 18s or 20s? Do you like that look better? Some lowering, or do you like it slam? Let us know in the comments. We'd like to know. We want to, and the reason we talk about this is we're always looking for content.
Yes, we are.
If that's something y'all want to see, trust me, it's out there. We can go find it, can't we, guys?
Yes,
absolutely.
Please share some pictures as well.
Yeah, share some photos of what you have or what your friends have, or
I mean, go to Heartland Hot Rods on Facebook, share it there. Go to heartlandhotrods.com. Let us know what you think there.
Right.
YouTube for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and we can only talk as individuals about what our preferences are. A 14-inch wheel, there's a couple reasons. Like on my Firebird when I built it, I love
I think Jim's got a picture of that.
Yeah, I love the rally look from the original thing, from the original cars on 1968. Yeah. But you're looking at a 6.5-inch wide wheel, and I modified this car. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? First off, I didn't want to run anything bigger than a 15 on there, and just put me a big fat tire on there. Well, you know what those big fat tires do? They sling rocks and debris and things like that. They chip your paint up. Okay, my next option is I went 4-wheel disc brake. When I bought the 4-wheel disc brakes for the rear, the smallest wheel you can run, because of the size of the caliper, a 15 won't clear that caliper. So now I've got to go 17-inch. 16 won't clear that caliper. So now I'm at 17 inch.
Oh, I see.
Well, the selection of 17-inch wheels wasn't as great as it was for an 18-inch wheel. So here I am thinking, I don't want to go bigger than a 15. Next thing you know, I'm looking at 18-inch wheels. Yeah.
It looks good on your car.
It does look good on your car, but I will say this. I lost some sidewall height. I was able to get the offset. I wanted to get the wheel tucked under the car as far as possible. Still got 9.5-inch wheels on the rear by 18. I was able to run a 295 tire on that thing.
Okay.
By 40, which is the sidewall.
Right.
And well, I could be wrong. It may not. I don't know. The way they rate
tire
height and width anymore confuses me, but I know the way it was in the 70s when we were all putting M and N50s on stuff.
The good old days.
Yeah, 50 was a wide sucker. I did know that. You know, 70 was something narrower. But what I'm saying is, when I wound up with the 18s, I was satisfied with the look.
Yeah, they looks good. Stance is good.
And the stance stayed the same from an 18 down to a 15. Was less than a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
No one's going to see that.
And whenever you showed me those pictures, your 18 was no higher, actually maybe a tad lower than your 14.
Yeah, when if you look at my Firebird on there versus that Vadero green one, it's sitting on it's a stock stance,
Yeah.
completely original, versus my car. My car, if anything, could be a little bit taller.
Yeah.
But if it is, it's
minute.
Yeah, it's very, very, very close to stock height. And again, I was particular about stance and how I wanted it to sit.
Yeah.
You were on your truck.
Yeah.
Your truck sits pretty low for a C10.
It does, and that's just 15s with.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but the stance, I like my stance on it.
Yeah.
Now with yours, Greg, you went from a stock. Well, it had white spoke wheels on it when you bought it, but they were basically a stock style wheel. You went from that to a car style GM rally wheel and put on your truck.
Yeah, it's not a true stock.
Yeah.
Chevy pickup wheel on the GM. It's not. And,
but it's a different look. So if you look at a C10 67 to 72, and especially the Cheyenne packages in 71, 72, they had a rally wheel on those trucks.
They did. You're right.
Now it showed a lot of steel. It had a lot of vented holes around it.
A lot of it.
A narrower beauty ring. Center cap was a screw-on plastic. And Greg didn't necessarily want that look. He likes that wide beauty ring. He's added the beauty ring.
I have. I've really upgraded, folks. I went to the beauty rings.
Yeah. He pulled up. But the cool thing is you can change that look just by snapping them on.
But you know, the majority of the viewers that we asked said beauty rings.
Beauty rings. You're right. So my point is your stock 15-inch wheels gave that truck a different look, a different vibe. You've got 10-inch wide wheels in the back. We're still on a 15. You can call it a big wheel, but it's only big in depth.
Yeah, it's a fat tire.
It's got fat tires on it, and they tuck under there well because your offset was correct.
Right, and I wouldn't really want to go any bigger, but I really wouldn't want to go any.
And you didn't have to change from a 6-hole down to a 5-hole. Use any adapter, convert it over, anything like that. You were able to buy that GM car rally wheel with a 6-hole bolt pattern for a truck,
and it that is economical as well as
pretty affordable set of wheels. If you compare wheels and tires against the value of those versus, and look, there's so little of the steel wheel showing, it's almost a chrome wheel.
That's true.
It's just got that factory look. But that's not a stock. That's not a stock
C10 wheel.
It's not a stock look. So is what we're saying. So I'm curious as to what our people that watch this program think about 20-inch wheels, 22-inch wheels, or do you like more of a stock look? Do they ride better?
Right.
Do they ride worse? We're honestly curious.
We are. We don't know those things. I mean, really, I haven't ridden in a.
I haven't either. We're old guys. I see these trucks going up and down the road, and I'm telling you, they got 2 inches or less of sidewall on a tire. In my mind, I feel like you would feel every little pebble and stone on the road. Do you?
Yeah.
We would genuinely like to know because Greg, Kevin, we couldn't afford those wheels and tires, right? You're talking about a $1,500 plus wheel, another $300-400 tire wrapped around that thing,
absolutely,
and times 4.
Yeah, it's a costly.
There's
not much on a classic that's not costly.
Which is another thing Kevin pointed out earlier. Make sure you know what you want before you spend that money. If you see something someone else has that you like, by all means, talk to them. Make sure that it's something that you think you would like, even though you like the look. Find out what he had to go through to make those things work.
And we could do it a lot cheaper if
you know those little.
If we use a search engine, Google or whatever, and do the car or the truck year, model, look for different size wheels, all the rest. Learn in that way.
And on these forums, they'll let you know because guys are sharing experiences.
Yeah, they are.
I bought a 5.5-inch offset wheel. Some guy will say, and it rubs so I had to send them back, get a 4.5-inch or a 4 3/4.
Good to know.
You know, it's always good information. Know what you're looking for, and then understand that you need to look and make sure that it's going to work on your application.
You know, the biggest thing is people love to talk about their cars and trucks.
Yeah, they do.
Chase them down if you
Well,
find
when
it.
we go to these car cruises,
Don't stalk them.
Where'd you get your wheels? I mean, that's a neat setup.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we ask questions. People ask us questions about our vehicles, and you know, it's always good to have that conversation and have that common thing that we can share with other hot rodders.
It is.
You know what? You know what else is a pretty common discussion is LS or stock engine.
Yeah.
That's a big one, right?
Well, in particular, LS and stock engines, and we're going to talk about that stuff as soon as we take a little pee break here, and we'll be right back, guys.
Right back.
We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, as soon as the commercial plays. We caught Jim over there reading a magazine.
I slimmed down the
All right, everybody, we're back.
Yeah, that was
Now
quick work.
we did our quick little restroom break.
Yeah.
But our problem is, and I'm just going to be flat honest, in this studio, there is a bar next to the restroom,
Yeah.
and
That's a bad thing.
that's kind of a bad thing when you're on your way to the restroom and you see all that fine liquor back there
It's
behind
got
it.
some fine bourbons.
It's got some,
One can lead to the other as well.
yeah, it's
Sometimes can garner a line.
yeah. So we do not drink, we sample. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We do. We sample. That is true sampling.
No, that's true
But,
sampling. So
yeah.
we're not drinking.
No, we're not guzzling, but we're tasting.
It's taste
Taste
testing. It's
test.
kind of
I
like
like
going to a winery, you know, and they say, "Well, try this one." They give you a
It
little
is.
bitty sip,
It is. I mean,
and here's a breadcrumb.
you've drank a few here that you've never tried.
No, I'll deny that all the way. I'll deny that all the way. Drink a few,
Yeah.
very few.
Now, before we started that drinking segment, where was this headed?
Oh, we were talking about, Kevin mentioned, and we're going to talk LS engines
A
tonight.
lot of talk.
In particular, we're going to talk about LS3 engines, which is a
Okay.
third generation LS. And the reason we chose that, fellas, is because that is the major one that everybody does LS swaps with, LS3. So as they've got generations of LS engines, you got Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, and there's soon to be a Generation 6. I don't have a particular date on that. It's
Right.
not something that's out
Right.
there yet.
You know, these LS swaps too, they're just not in General Motors. They'll put them in older Fords. They'll put them in older AMCs, whatever.
You know, folks, you can put an LS in almost any product. And I was telling you guys earlier, 3 or 4 wires and you're running.
Yeah.
You know, when people look at an LS engine and they see all that electronics and they see that big wad of wires, when they go to a salvage yard, for example, and you look at an LS and you go, wow, what do I do with all that wiring? Well, you don't do anything with that wiring, as it turns out. You need a power source, a fuel power to the fuel pump. You need power to the starter. And that's basically it. I mean, it's literally that simple. And you eliminate all that other stuff that you see. You know, it's one of the things that's kept me away from doing an LS project. And until you learn and educate yourself,
Yeah.
then we don't know. We see 40 wires that's been cut at the salvage yard or for somebody pulling an engine out, and we go, wow, how am I ever going to fix that? Do not, if you gave any thought to using an LS engine, do not be overwhelmed or steered away by the way they look or the electronics working in an old vehicle, because they will work.
What do you think about it, Kev?
I think, I mean, again, you see a lot of them at car shows.
Well, and the
a lot
reason
of different vehicles.
and the reason you do, and we've touched on this kind of off camera in weeks past, the reason you see a lot of LS swaps is, number one, they're pretty affordable horsepower. They're number two, they're a pretty easy swap. So in other words, you can buy an adapter kit for motor mounts and things virtually compared to other restoration things,
Right.
next to nothing. A couple $100 you can have some motor mounts, and you can put an LS in a old Chevy truck. That easy. I mean, it's literally that easy. And if affordability, horsepower, and that modern engine, better fuel mileage.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a lot of guys do it for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it a daily driver.
Yeah.
Well, and not that you can't run a carbureted engine
Not
as a
that you
daily
can't.
driver, but in these day and times, you know, carburation for a daily driver is not really. For one thing, our gas is real cheap. These engines are designed to run on this cheap gas. You know, I've got a 68 engine in my 68 Firebird.
Yeah.
Well, when that thing came out of the factory, it was running on leaded gas, ethyl and regular, full of lead. Smelled great. You know, then you had that super,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, it was like race fuel today, and we had access to it every single day.
Yeah.
So, you know, these modern engines are designed to accept and operate more at a more optimum than the old carbureted engines do on this cheaper gas that they're refining.
So we decided to do this LS swap talk.
Yeah.
And in doing so, being that we're old coots, we had to do some research.
We did. Now, you know,
And
I've
you
always
did.
heard my boys talking about LS. Oh, Dad, you should do an LS swap. Well, I don't even want to talk about it
No,
because
we're
I'm old school
That's
and,
right.
you know, I just don't want to talk about it. But so a little quick history on the LS engines. They started this thing back in 96, 97. LS motors became a thing with General Motors. The L is the series of engine it is.
Okay.
You know, LS is an easy thing to say, but there's only 2 LS engines in the Gen 3. You have an LS1 and an LS6. But we're going to start, and we've got some charts that we're going to throw up for you guys, and you guys check them out. Again, when we talk about LS motors, we're doing this because don't ever have that fear of wanting something but being afraid to tackle it. Don't you agree, Kevin?
Yep.
I mean, it can be done. So, you know, there's 9 different Series 3 Gen 3 LS options there. So you've got like 4 that are 5.3 that you're looking at the neighborhood. And I love to hear guys tell this because 5.3 is basically around a 327 cubic inch motor.
Right.
You know,
cubic inch size.
They made a 4.8 knocking on the door of a between a 283 and a 305 GM
Yeah.
by GM standards. And then you have the 6.0. So we're going to go through these, each one of them, as we
Do old men need
as
to put on
we
glasses?
talk about it. Well, old men do have.
Let me see how's that look.
You need 2 pair of glasses to read what I've written down
I've
here.
only got one this week.
But as I said, there's 9 block options or engine options on the LS3 package, and the first of which we'll go over is a 5.3 L33. Now, one thing you need to understand about most of these is it's an L33. It's also a truck engine. Okay, it was manufactured between 2005 2007. It had an all aluminum block and aluminum heads. Now, a couple things about that. Aluminum disperses heat more evenly.
Yeah.
Things tend to run cooler than cast iron. So you have that advantage. Also on repairing, if you had any kind of block or head damage on an all aluminum engine, it's much easier to get it repaired than it is with a cast iron block and cast iron head.
For those interested in speed, you've reduced the weight.
Well, and you reduce that weight up front, so the weight transfer it's more beneficial, and they're, we all know engines are designed to run 3, 4, 500,000 miles anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're designed to do it, but they will sure do it.
Yeah.
If you take care of them.
If you take care of them and keep up on your maintenance. So we started off with that L33, all aluminum block and heads. And again, 05 to 07, it's a truck engine. On to the next one here. From 02 to 07, they built an L59 series. And that was basically just like the first one, the L33, except that it had a cast iron block with aluminum heads. Now, Greg, I was telling you earlier, on those all aluminum engines, they have a steel sleeve in the cylinder holes.
Right.
So you can hone it, repair it, bore it, whatever you want to do. So even though it's all aluminum, it does have cast iron sleeves in the cylinder holes. So that L59 is a 5.3. They manufactured it 2002 through 2007. What's the next one you got on your list there, Kev? That LM4?
Yep.
So the LM4 was just 2-year, all aluminum, 5.3, and it was only offered. You guys remember the HHR cars?
Oh yeah.
Well, they made a little pickup truck in 03 and 04 called an SSR.
Yeah.
I remember those.
This is the LS that came in those 2 trucks.
Yes.
Now, getting one of those would probably be a little bit tough because they didn't mass produce a lot of those SSR
They did. They were
sporty
pretty
pickup
cool.
trucks.
Actually, for modern.
Oh, I love
they
them,
were
man.
pretty
If
cool.
anybody's got one, let us know. We'd love to
Yeah.
come and film that thing
Yeah,
because
we
I
would.
think they're really, really cool.
They are.
And they're V8 powered. Also a 5.3, somewhere around that 327 area there. And then this one here, this next one, this LM7, is probably one of the most common ones that you can find
Really.
out there in the aftermarket world. It's a cast iron block. It's got aluminum heads. They produced it from 99 to 07. So you got 8 years of production there. Cast iron block, aluminum heads, like I said. You'll find a lot of those. And one thing I will jump in here and say is when you got an 04, 05, 06 truck, something like that, or you find an engine that's an LS out of that, and say, well, it says it's a Vortec, not an LS. A Vortec is just a branding of an LS engine specifically for trucks and SUVs. So if you see an LS motor that says Vortec, it's still an LS motor. It just meant it came out of a truck or an SUV.
Okay.
It was branded
For that.
Vortec for that specific
I wonder
reason.
why they would differentiate between a car and a truck.
Well, I don't think you got to brand one or the other. So Vortec, I don't know. It kind of sounds cool.
You know,
does.
I had a 4.3. You had a 4.3.
Yep.
That was the best engine I've ever.
So you're talking about a
Vortec.
V6
Yes,
Vortec.
91.
Yep.
Those V6s are also LS motors, guys. They really are.
Well, that's
It's,
the best
it's all
motor.
all in the same package. And 4.3's been a great motor. I've seen guys use them in smaller applications like little Jeepsters and things like that. They work good for that.
Great motor.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I had one of the S15 Jimmy.
So the LQ4 is the next one we're going to come up on, and it's a 6.0. It's not a 5.3. So they made the 5.3 for those first four we went to. You jump to the LQ4. It's a 6.0 liter block, iron block, aluminum head engine again.
Yeah.
And again, all these are out of trucks. You notice we're showing you LQ9. How come it doesn't say LS? It does. The RPO code L indicates that it's an L series engine.
Okay.
The Q9 was a year process, what they went in. It's something they read as the vehicle goes down the assembly line.
Early 2000.
Yeah. LQ9 was 02 to 07. LQ4, are we looking at the LQ?
LQ9.
LQ9. So yeah, it's 02 to 07, 60. Real popular engine. And you can find them out there a lot of times hooked to that transmission.
Yeah.
And you want to get that package deal because those automatics that came behind a lot of these were really bulletproof, guys.
Really
I mean,
ran well.
they did. You
I had
didn't
a
have a
5
lot of
speed
maintenance on them.
Yeah.
They withstood a lot of abuse,
Yeah.
damage, torque, things like that. So that LQ9 is to me, that would be a desirable engine. It's more expensive when you go out here in the aftermarket world. And there's people out here just dealing in LS motors. They're
Right. That's what
they're buying and reselling these LS motors. So that LQ9 is a big option. That LQ4 was also a 6.0. Now we move down to one that's real common, and that is the LR4.
Okay.
The LR4 is a 4.8, and that's that one I said sits around that 283 to 305 range, as far as cubic inches goes. And it's got a shorter board stroke. That's the only difference between it and the 5.3s.
Okay.
And then the 6.0s have a little longer board stroke, but a little bigger bore, a little longer stroke. But that 4.8 is very common. You'll see that at all these car cruises and stuff. When you walk over and you ask a guy, hey, what kind of LS motor is that? Most of them a lot of them are going to say 4.8 or 5.3.
Well,
There's just a lot of them. Those come in light, half-ton pickup trucks, 99 to 07. So it covers an 8-year period.
Okay.
They were widely popular. Well, when these newer vehicles, and I say newer, I'm talking about from 2000 through 2012, they take on very much damage in an accident, whether it's in the rear end or whatever. It gets totaled.
Yeah.
Guys are buying these up for the engines and transmissions. That's what they want. And they want them for either, number one, a replacement or for their old classic cars.
Wow.
And if we're wrong, you tell us. I mean, we're just basing things off some of the history we've learned when we're talking about LS engines.
And there are great guys that make a living doing this.
So and they know the right wiring harness that goes with it if you have to buy them separate. Now, my recommendation would be if you're going to go out and buy a used engine, even if it doesn't come with a transmission, make sure that wiring harness is attached and the wires have been clipped on the back side of that computer. You want to get the wiring from the back side of the computer, not the front side of the ECM.
Okay.
So that's a real important thing. If you buy an engine without a harness, you're going to have that added expense of buying an aftermarket harness. Then you're going to have to know what each one of those are, and there's different part numbers for every single one of these engines.
All right.
So you've got 9 choices to go through here.
Yeah,
but
the LR4 we were talking about, it has an iron block.
it's a cast iron block, got aluminum heads. It looks just like the 5.3.
Is that any plus or minus in your opinion, Kurt?
Well,
As far as
we've all dealt with cast iron blocks in the early mid '80s, they started. Some of the Cadillac had aluminum block engine,
Yeah.
4100. It was junk, But this was GM experimenting years before this all came into play. I mean, they ran good, but they just didn't last.
Right.
I'm sure that's when they decided to insert the steel sleeves in them so they're more serviceable.
Sure.
And they weren't throwaway engines, is what I'm saying. So from that we'll go. Now those all mentioned prior, Kevin, Greg, were truck engines. All those options there that we just went through, 7 of them, were all for light trucks and SUVs, and that SSR little pickup. So when you get into a true LS, and the first one we'll pull up is an LS1. Now, an LS1, and Kevin, you can read there. Here's what they let them know what
97 to a 2004 Vet, a 98 to an 02 Camaro, and a GTO 2004 only.
Yeah, so that was a 5.7 all aluminum engine, packing a lot of stock horsepower.
Oh
there.
yeah, wow.
And a lot of torque. An LS1 was a really, really good option. When you hear somebody say, "Well, I've got an LS motor," a lot of guys don't know if it's a
How many LS?
LS motor. What size? 5.3. Well, the LQ or
You're right.
things don't matter so much. But when you're talking about car LS engines, those are the true LS, not the trucks. Okay. Now, it's an all aluminum engine, so you get aluminum engine, you get aluminum heads. Again, breathable. It's ported better. It breathes better. It performs better.
Be a nice option for that 04 GTO.
It would.
Yeah,
it would.
Yeah, you're right.
If a guy had an old '60s Tempest or Le Mans or something like that, that'd be a great swap, especially if you could get one out of an 04 GTO. Because trust me, my boys' friends have had these cars, and these motors are runners, man. They'll plant you in that seat.
They'll put you back. Yeah.
Anybody ever had one out there? Let us know.
Yeah.
I mean, a true LS motor. Do you notice a difference between it and the truck options as far as power and torque and how they perform? We'd like to know and we're going to let you know why. I'd like to know for sure because
we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that at the end of this, and then the other car motor, we had an LS1 and the other was a
LS6.
LS6. Probably far and away the most expensive LS6. LS6 is the most expensive of all the L packages.
Well, those were only put in Corvettes, right?
Right. From 2001 till, what's it say, 04?
04.
And 01 to 04, Z06 Corvettes had this engine. So ultimately, unless you go buy a crate LS6, you're going to have to find a Corvette that's been wrecked beyond repair, which doesn't take a lot.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't take a lot. As long as it didn't take a bunch of front end damage and you know that engine is guaranteed, sure, don't be afraid of it. You talk about the ultimate LS motor, Gen 3 we're talking.
Right.
That would be the one I would want. I'm probably not going to find that when it comes time for me to make that decision. But I would be absolutely fine with one of the truck engines. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
So, and no doubt you would be. And I'm curious because we've talked about this, and the old school comes out in us, and it's like I was browsing Facebook to see how many replies we had on some of this stuff, and I saw one fella ask on his C10. It showed a picture of it, and I didn't get into it much, but he says, "What wheels?" This is related but not related. What wheels would you guys recommend that I would put on this? I would like to modernize it a little bit and get a little. And then the next thing I saw him say was, "Look, it's my truck. I'll put whatever I want on it."
So he asked a question, but he didn't want to answer.
No, but my point is, people gave him
advice,
their strong opinion.
Yeah.
Like it must have been like, why in the Hades would you want to change that over? But
well, if you really and truly know what you want, don't ask somebody else what you should do.
That's true.
On those chats and forums
True.
and things like that.
It has some thick skin because
Yeah.
we have to have some.
Because you're going to get some not so nice opinions.
Yeah.
Right. So Kevin,
Some strong opinion.
yeah, how would we get back to where we were headed before I took us off on that squirrel?
No, actually,
You
we're
did run us off the damn road a little
That's all right. No,
Where are we headed?
in all honesty, Greg, this is something else that we wanted to talk about, and that was your comments. That was, your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we value them greatly.
We
So-
really do. So where I'm looking at is this conversation has rolled around. This research has really caused a issue here with these old school
Well,
car guys
amongst us.
amongst us.
Because I've got a 72 Chevy Cheyenne pickup and I'm getting ready to restore this thing. And I want
Great video coming up.
yeah, we're gonna have we are
Oh, yeah.
ready.
Keep
We're
your
getting
eye
that
open.
baby out of the field.
Yeah, when you see this video coming up on this truck,
You got
you got to watch it because look, things didn't really go like we
No,
planned.
it
did
had to be a Friday the 13th.
it. So
but it was on a Saturday.
It was on Saturday,
So I mean,
the 15th.
if Saturday is a double, then that was it. But
keep coming back on this because you're going to be interested in this video.
Yeah.
But to segue back to our
But ultimately, I
Kyle.
want. We've been talking about, and where I'll lead up to it is this: Greg has a Cadillac that his granddaughter. He put his granddaughter in,
yeah,
and that thing has spent quite a lot of time in the shop,
unbelievable.
and to the point you're just kind of worn out.
I'm done with modern vehicles and modern Cadillacs.
So you saying that, my wife and I both had that same conversation when,
yeah,
and we don't have any new vehicles by any stretch of the means.
Right.
An 08,
right.
couple 08, 2008 cars is by no means new. They're almost 20. But when I say I want to go back old school, I'm talking 70s, 70, 72. And
Yes.
in doing
As a
so,
driver, he's talking about.
As
not
a daily
not
driver.
As a parker, but
Right.
as a driver.
so in doing so, I've got my dad's old Cheyenne truck and I want to restore it. That's my goal this coming year is I'm restoring that truck. And in doing that, I'm wanting to make it a daily driver,
Yeah.
but it's got the original motor in it, the original transmission, all the air conditioning hooked up, everything's complete. Here's my dilemma. When I restore this truck, I'm going to rebuild this engine and transmission. I promise you, and you guys that build them out there,
Yeah.
you know, or you pay someone to have them built, I'm looking at $2,500 to $3,500 to get a 350 Chevy motor rebuilt. I'm building it myself
Right.
and paying someone to build the transmission. Okay?
Right. Yeah. You're going to pay some.
When I'm done, I've still got a 350 engine, carbureted, and a 350 turbo transmission.
Right. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but
They're not the best thing for a daily driver.
that's true. When you consider the difference between daily drivers. So let's just say you jump in that thing, it's going to get 14 miles a gallon
On a good day.
on a good day, and you're going to run from here to Branson, which is 250 miles.
No, I couldn't afford to go to Branson in that truck.
But what would happen if you went with an LS?
The whole game changes. So here's what you gain. And you should know from this conversation we just had about these LS. And we chose Gen 3 because those are the most popular among old school guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's more of them out there than anything. If I bought an LS engine and transmission, so I would gain the extra gear plus overdrive,
Right.
I would have the lighter weight LS motor, fuel injection, cooler running, better operating.
Uh-oh. We know where this headed, don't we?
Yeah.
I would have that modern engine because look, they build them for performance and economics,
Right.
and they last a long time. So for me to use that truck as a daily driver, I'm trying to convince myself or to make a decision on, and maybe you guys can help me. Do you leave that original motor in there and just suffer the cost and the consequences? Or do you upgrade to that LS and drive it, have a more modern mechanical feel to it?
I do want to say that, Kurt, whenever you built your 68, you looked specifically for a Pontiac engine, right?
And not just a Pontiac.
And a year.
I wanted your correct
Yep.
engine.
That's right.
So this is coming from a guy that if this
I'm
same
very old
question,
school.
And
if the same question had been asked a month ago,
But you know, I got lucky and I found that 68 Firebird motor, but I've already got the 350 motor that came in this truck new.
Yeah.
What do I do, people?
Right.
I mean, you tell me I could put fuel injection on the 350. Again, it's another expense.
As a driver, though, too, does that make a difference, right? So, I mean, if you're just
Daily
taking it to car shows, then there's a difference.
I would stay with the 350
There we go.
100%.
Right.
Yep.
Greg made a good point to me earlier this morning. He said, if you can get an LS engine and transmission cheaper, it would literally pay for itself in fuel in probably
On a
less
daily driver.
as a daily driver in less than a year.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of almost makes my mind up for me.
Right.
I mean, look, everybody changes from the old radiators to the aluminum
They do.
radiators, and they want the electric fans and all that. And I got all that on my old Pontiac, and it helps with the cooling.
Right.
Well, if you've got an engine that naturally disperses heat better and runs cooler, it's more efficient on the highway.
Right.
You go from 12 miles to the gallon to 20 plus miles to the gallon just by changing to fuel injection, an LS motor,
And you're talking
and an
about
automatic
a truck,
overdrive
pickup
transmission.
truck,
And a
which is
pickup
a
truck.
big difference.
I want to get rid of anything that's newer than 1972, except for my dually truck that I use pulling my camper and I tow lawnmowers and I
Right.
haul with it,
Right.
things like that. As daily drivers, I want that old vehicle.
What do we got coming in, Jimmy?
We got a question here.
What's that?
Dark Ram 22 asks, what about putting the Holly EFI on the old small block? Would that give you better gas mileage?
And to answer that, yes, to a degree. But if I don't go to that 700 R4 transmission, I'm only going to gain overdrive doing that. So that would be a 3-speed with overdrive. If I went with the 4A OD that comes behind the LS, I believe that's the number. Then you've got 4 gears plus overdrive.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about RPMs when you're doing that. And I thought about just the fuel injection kit on the original 350 to answer your question. But I would, at the very least, if I went that route, I'd want to upgrade transmissions and maybe even a gear ratio.
Here's what I'm looking at from this side of the fence, looking over. You're going to have a bit of money upgrading that 350 in that transmission.
Regardless, because the cost us to rebuild the 350.
You are.
Yeah.
And it runs good, fellas,
Right.
but I'm not going to restore a truck and not go through the engine as well.
And you're,
Especially if you're driving it all.
Right.
daily driving makes
Yeah.
a big difference.
I want to be the guy running around town that got the 72 Chevy truck that he drives all
every day.
over to the grocery store,
Beautiful truck.
to Branson, as you said, or
Do
wherever
it
we
up
choose
right.
to drive it. I want to be able to jump in it like it was a newer mid 2000s car
Right.
and just not worry about it and be able to cruise up and down the road.
And by the way, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you've got an opinion, we want to hear your opinion on
Yeah.
what would you do? I mean, I'm genuinely on the fence about this.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
should be.
just playing or this is not fodder for a live show here.
Yeah.
This is a thing that I've been contemplating.
Yeah, I
Now,
mean,
one thing is you're not going to get rid of the original engine.
No, I'll
Regardless.
always have the original motor.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it all means something to you, and it's a numbers matching.
Absolutely.
It is.
So, I mean, I've got a numbers matching actually.
Yeah.
I've still got the engine.
You've got the engine and transmission.
And the rest of it is numbers matching.
But here's the thing: how important is numbers matching anymore in a '72 Cheyenne?
So,
pickup?
that was going to be a topic, but we've run out of time. Would you take a numbers matching vehicle and LS it? Or that's a question.
Take it apart and make it your own. If you
That's
were
right.
never going to part with it, and it doesn't matter on the value, what would you do? Original.
That's
And
right.
we may touch on that next week.
We will probably follow it up. And I tell you what, we've had a good segment tonight, fellas.
What
Well-
we got coming next week?
Well, what we've got coming up next week is we've got the Memories Car Club out of St. Louis. This is one of the biggest, finest ran car clubs in maybe the state of Missouri.
I absolutely love this car club because they put on the biggest cruise I've ever been.
Yeah, it's well organized.
Of
Very
well
well
organized,
organized.
and you're going to meet. I think the reason it's well organized, the president
Well, absolutely.
and the vice president next week, and I think it's going to shock you to find out
Why they're so organized.
That's right. And as our gender goes, I understand now. I messed up on the date right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's something they wouldn't do.
And they corrected you.
They
So,
should.
guys, I appreciate the LS topic tonight.
Yeah.
It helped me in a lot of ways on my dilemma that I've got going on, whether to stay original or LS. And I kind of educated myself a little bit on the LS package.
Right.
And the reason the L motors in particular,
Right.
simply because, everybody does it. And I want to be the outlaw no matter which way I go.
Sometimes the outlaw is not the best way to be.
Well, you get put in jail eventually.
Yeah, if somebody's a faster draw.
Right.
That's what happens.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate y'all, and we're looking forward to next week. And if you got any topics that you guys would like to discuss and get more involved in what we're doing,
Right.
say so. We will go there.
We're at Heartland Hot Rods on Facebook, heartlandhotrods.com on our webpage, and this YouTube channel, Heartland Hot Rods YouTube channel.
And cruising season's almost here.
It is. We can't wait.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Heartland Hot Rods.